jamestheidolsmasher at gmail.com. My good friend and colleague, John Gishla, welcome to our Thursday night Torah chat and time to we set aside to discuss our Creator and His Word and all things to it. So I'm making sure we're live over here, making sure things are going good, monitoring the situation. John, how you been? How are you, sir?
Glory goes to God. I'm doing well.
Oh,
I can't complain.
My new sign's in the shop now.
Everything's good. Even when things aren't good, things are good. You know, that's the way it is.
My wife bought me a sign for the Radio Shack here, and now shows up in my Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. I don't know if you can see it, but it's in the shot now.
Yeah, it comes out all right.
Yeah. It's kosher. It's good beer. Good beer. Well, as you can see in the title, we've got this week's Parsha to talk about. Lots of food. It's a food Parsha. Ray's a food Parsha. It's a lot in there about eating, a lot about what you can eat, animals, and he repeats himself several times, makes things pretty clear. We can get into the Parsha, of course. I have Torah reading. But really what's on my mind right now is World War III. Yeah. I'm a little concerned. The more I look at it, I wonder if we got about maybe 230 years left. And Rosalie's needing a link. She's not getting her.
You saw the big peace deal that Iran is making with Biden making with Iran.
You just got to ask yourself how is he going to throw Israel under the bus?
Right, you quote peace in quotes, you know.
Oh boy, my autistic 8-year-old is having a great time in the other room. So when you hear her throwing a fit, she's getting better. Actually, she graduated her therapy today, so she will be a full-time student at the elementary school.
Hi.
In
How you doing,
just
Rosalie?
time.
I'm okay.
Hi, Rosalie.
Hi, it's beer 30. Yay.
Oh, you like the sign? Did you see that?
What?
Oh,
This one here?
I thought you were watching and saw it. I always told the wife when I get a Radio Shack, I want to get a Miller High Life neon signs. Well, we don't have the money to buy the neon sign. I have to turn it down.
It glows in the dark, right?
Yeah, it lights up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, but I'm a bit concerned. I'm a bit concerned that our former president is getting indicted right and left. If there's not a strong enough backlash from the people, I have fear that our country is going to pay for that.
They claim that he's a flight risk. You saw that in the news. He's a flight risk.
Right.
the president of the United States is a flight risk, people.
Right. Well, he does have his own plane, so what the hell?
It's kabuki. It's kabuki theater at this point. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean,
I still swear up and down he's either the backside Ezekiel or he's the backside David. I mean, not David.
Messiah ben Joseph.
Yes. Think about it. Look how many times Joseph was in and out of jail, and his brothers were getting at him.
They don't want this man to accomplish anything. I don't know. I know we're supposed to believe Orange Man bad, Trump derangement syndrome, but man, I think it's clinical at this point. I mean, it's just not. I think people need some help. But people, it's shown that people are sick of it, though, James. I think people are over it. It's not working. It's not affecting Trump. It's not really. It's not sticking. I don't know. I don't. It's not going to go anywhere. I mean, even Alan Dershowitz was on the. I forget where he was. I think he was on Fox News, and he was saying, "Hey, look, Trump technically could run for president, get arrested, convicted, thrown in prison, and still win the election and just be the president from jail. He just just come out. I mean,
he said he'd do it too.
He would just leave and pardon himself at that point, right? He's the president of the United States. So I mean, you're just making him stronger. You know what I mean? It's like, Obi-Wan and Star Wars. You strike me down, you'll just make me stronger. So I think people are fed up with it. Quite frankly, people are fed up.
Like you said, the best 4 words: people are sick.
Yeah.
Well,
but it's it's a lot coming together, though, James. Like you said, World War III. I don't know why these people want World War III.
Because they're trying to make Revelations come true.
Yeah.
They're trying to make the book of Revelations come true.
Yeah. They wanted this war since Hillary. I mean, Hillary was. Could you imagine if Hillary won instead of Trump? I mean, we would have been in Fallout at this point. Would have looked like the video game Fallout. I guess like James said in the beginning of the show, we bought ourselves a couple of years. How many more years we got left, James?
If
2.5 years.
If it's 230 something, 230 and change, I think. It's what 5783, right?
Yeah.
So 120 or 220 about roughly, but it's once we reach the end of the 6th day, or we get into that 6th day, that 6,000 year. If that's what everything's telling, if all this with what I'm getting from a lot of different areas, when you look into the deeper aspects, and and it's I don't come up with myself. I've heard about this years ago. I mean, if you go to Kabbalah of Adam, they talk about it every other night.
Damn near.
So, yeah, and that makes sense to me. Because where we are now, we've become one world. We can communicate in real time, worldwide, 24/7. That's a first. The people really don't want war, whereas it was just a way of life 200 years ago. For everybody, anywhere, all the time, everywhere.
Okay, I have to say something really scary right now. There is nothing new under the sun. So 24/7, everybody's seeing everything. No, it's not new.
Oh, come on.
It's just new to us.
Sending satellites into space, and it might be new to us, but I mean,
that's what I mean. It's new to us. Their technology was so far ahead of us. Just think of the things that we will never know. Oh, boggles the mind.
Well, if things are going to get rough, like they haven't been rough enough, but if things are to get rougher than they've already been, I could see us breaking apart and coming back together in about 200 years. I could see the human race kind of fixing itself, I can see the world a much different, and people a much different place in 200 some odd years. So, I mean, I would like Mashiach too. That would bring Gog and Magog, but I don't want a great war like that. But some say the war has been going on, that it's been trickling like a death of 1,000 paper cuts. Eventually, it's just going to crack. That's another theory. What were you saying, Rosalie?
Ow. Sins of 1,000 paper cuts. Ow.
Oh. So the push for war, people aren't behind it, but all the people with money are, and there are enough suckers in America, which blows me away. But on the indictments, this is the big thing is, and part of it, in my opinion, is it's a flaw of who we are as Americans. I've never heard in Torah. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong out there, please somebody let me know. I've never heard God say to establish fair and balanced courts of law. You ever hear that in the Torah? A court of law. Courts of law. I never hear that. I hear courts of justice. Justice shall you seek. I hear the word justice being a just people. Yes, follow the law. Yes, the law is what you try people against. But I think in America, all too often, we think that the law is justice itself. And quite frankly, the law in America is just schlock.
Yes.
It's schlock. And the courts are worse. We're seeing it now. It's proof. It just that we don't think about it too often. We think, well, it's better than no justice system. And you're right. trial by jury is great, and innocent till proven guilty. Great idea, great philosophy. Magna Carta is great philosophy too, but that's in the past. I'm afraid that if we don't, as a nation, react properly against this, we could be judged, because the perversion of justice is now being exposed to everybody. And I think that, considering it's a universal commandment, and I've been told by several rabbis that every nation has a guardian angel, or a judging angel at that, if you
That
will.
too, yeah.
We could pay for it. And John, I hope you're right. I mean, I don't get up as much as I used to, but I really hope you're right that people are sick of it and they're waking up. I mean, you look at the Dylan Mulvaney thing with the Bud Light can. Now nobody buys Bud Light. I mean, they've had to sell off some of their brands now, and they've lost more money than they ever have. This was the number one selling beer in the world. I live in Kansas, and I'd say 95% of everybody drinks nothing but Bud Light. And if you bring anything else but Bud Light to a party, it will not be drunken. It won't be consumed.
Drank.
That's just the way it was. It was Bud Light with a label out. That's Kansan. That's a man's beer. And now you go into any store in this city that I've seen, or any surrounding cities, and everything's sold but Bud Light. Always full, always Anheuser-Busch products.
Yeah, I mean, it's by design. I mean, all these corporations have to go by. I think the abbreviation is ESG. It's a basically a standard that each corporation is ranked by how liberal and trendy they are, if they're, how pro-gay they are, how many minorities are in the company, and they get a rating for it. They get
Disney paid dearly for theirs.
And they show, like, okay, is this a company worth investing in? Is this a company that gets loans in? And it's all tied into like BlackRock and all these other financial institutions. So, of course, Target is going to make a section in their store, basically, giving 2-year-olds underwear that helps them tuck, because it gives them good ratings. It makes them, we're going to invest in Target now. But really, the real investing should come from the people, your customers. I mean, that's really where it's going to come from. If you lose your base, if you're going to alienate people, and you're going to feel like people are not going to want to go there. I'm not going to single out Target, but Bud Light is also another corporation that buys into I think it's called ESG rating. I don't know, Google it. And they paid dearly for it. And it's like, it doesn't matter how much the bank thinks you're valuable. If people don't want to buy your crap, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to make it. I mean, just don't try to fake it. Just be who you want to be. I don't think it matters to the average person whether you're liberal or conservative, gay or straight. But if you're faking it, people can see that, right? You're making a Bud Light can with a guy that makes a mockery of what it means to be a woman. That's the way you're going to sell your beer. That doesn't make any sense. And like what James is saying, there's you think a grown ass man in his 50s is going to go to this beer store and want to pick up a can of beer with rainbows and dress up on it? It's
especially when it's a cowboy beer.
And you're not going to get the other group of people that they're candling. They're not going to buy the beer. They're not going to go out of the way to buy more of it. So it hurts them in both ways. All for a rating, all to make it seem like in the public eye. Oh, and maybe we could tie it into
German and Nazi. Next question.
Is there a way to tie it into the Parsha, James? That's the $1 million question. Can we tie the events into the Parsha? What do you got? What comes to the top of your mind?
Well, don't boil a kid in its mother's milk is brought up in this week's Parsha, but it was also brought up after discussing the homosexual act, which was prohibited in Torah. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
First thing came into my mind, false prophets. People are going to say and do things to make you, there's going to be people in the world that are going to be contrary to, and it's going to be ear tickling. It's going to sound so good. It's going to be like, ooh, I like that, and that's what it's all about. Ear tickling. Oh, look how true liberal and trendy we are, which is fine. If someone wants to be that, I don't think it's whatever, right? But if it's a false prophet, you're gonna get called out for it. It's not genuine. It's not real.
It's not like it doesn't exist. It was a dreamer, a prophet, dreamer of dreams, soothsayer. These are people who are easy to listen to, like you were saying. Ear tickling. I like that.
They say the things that people want to hear, and it leads them astray.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
How do you know of a false prophet? It's like, does it go against the Torah? Simple as that. Yeah. It says kill him. Yeah, people prophecy, and they're going to, elsewhere in the Torah, there's a, excuse me, a much more detailed explanation of things that people do, hearing voices, making voices heard, spells, magic. It's not like it doesn't exist. He's saying, is what they're doing straying you from the Torah? Because once you go one little degree off, that's it. That one little degree, and you're going to be this far apart in no time flat. So you're already. So when it comes to prophets, and it's all based on faith anyway, all this Marxism, all this equity, inclusion, diversity nonsense, it's all religion. BLM, Antifa, it's a religion. It's a cult. It's what it is. And what do they give us? Another cult. And I believe this is almost on the.
And they change. Now BLM is not a big thing anymore. It's fell out of fashion. Now we moved on. People forgot. Just not even a year later, people forgot all about it.
All problems solved.
People see the charlatans that they are. They live in $8 million mansions, and 4 of them, and where the money go to?
That Oregon hasn't forgotten.
Get help. Did the black people in the inner cities get any help from any of this? No. Mm-hmm. You just look at go to Twitter and look at all the videos that people put up Portland, Atlanta, New York. It's bad. It's like, it's just, why would you want to live there?
The judge overseeing Trump's case in D.C. worked at the same firm as Hunter Biden.
Uh-oh.
And is actively, vocally anti-Republican, anti-Trump. And this is a judge. These people aren't judges, man.
If he was an honest judge, they would recuse themselves for.
That's what I was going to say. Yep.
But they're not going to do such a thing. No. Trump's a flight risk. You got to remember, Trump is just a flight risk. He's out of control. He's not going to stop. He's a tyrant. He tried to overturn. We can't say on you. Technically, we're not allowed to say it on YouTube, but he did something with the E word, and you're not allowed to question it.
Oh yeah, the election was a fraud. Not a complete fraud. Not a complete
I didn't say
fraud.
it. YouTube, don't punish me, YouTube. I wasn't the one to say it.
I'll say it. I'll say it flat out. Yeah, it was. 148,000 strict Biden vote drop in 2 hours when 4 key cities and 4 key swing states shut the press out, get rid of all the poll watchers, lie, whatever it takes, and then suddenly it's all Biden for 2 hours and nobody could see anything.
I remember going to bed at 10 o'clock at night and thinking to myself, wow, Trump did better than Reagan.
Exactly.
It was pretty much red. And then you wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, what happened? It's like, what happened? We're in communist Russia.
It was like 148 in the morning, I think is what it was. And I was still up and watching all the stuff come in. And that's when Trump came out and says, I want to take this to the Supreme Court. Of course, nobody talked about it the next day. But he's like, what they just did, what they pulled, this isn't right. And we're going to fight it. And that was like that night when they pulled that. They just shut everybody out. And it was all Biden for 2 hours. And you can see, you can watch as they trickle in the numbers. And then suddenly, about 2 a.m., there's Biden just literally straight up. Not one Trump vote for 2 hours in 4 key districts. So,
and they were making Giuliani look like a crazy person. I mean, they
oh
were
yeah, if you're a
basically
lawyer
saying
to
this
the
guy
guy,
was
you're
a
a
nut job.
co-conspirator, and they just sell this stuff to people, and God, they're just going to eat it
And
up.
the FBI knew that the laptop was real, but they said it was a Russian collusion and Russian propaganda anyway. I mean, it's just like people see through. Like I said, James, people see through. People know it.
Anybody who's
I
been in
don't
the
listen to
justice
the
system
media.
knows that this is happening. That it could happen to anybody now. It's not just the poor that you can sweep under the the rug. They'll do this to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
Gestapo.
Gestapo. Yeah. Yep.
Yep. And I love that phrase.
Yeah.
Well, I all I can say is keep saying what I've been saying is study Torah, study law, try to make the best of it you can, because I think we're going down, and we're going to be spread thin, but we're already sexualizing our children, and that's just groovy to apparently most people in the States. They keep allowing it; they don't stop. Yeah, you like your sexy children. That's what these kind of people like, and Americans are willing to go along with it. That's what Americans do. They take it. They take it.
Yeah, I mean, and people see it. Like I said, I know I keep repeating myself, but people see it. I mean, drag queen story reading hour, whatever they call it. Why don't they volunteer their time to read to prison inmates or volunteer the time to read stories to inner city kids? Why does it all have to be Why does it always have to be children? Ever wonder that? It's always children. How come they don't read books to prison? Go to prison and do a volunteer your time drag queen prison hour, because it's not about that. It's not about. It's about one thing, and people know what it is, and it's they themselves can't have children, so they get someone else's children, and
there
I
might
know
be
that's fear
personal
mongering.
protection violence.
It's one of these things. Like even as a kid, I remember in high school, James, 15 years ago. I had one gay classmate. One person in my entire school was gay. No trans. I never knew a trans growing up. And all of a sudden, it's like I walk around and I see men in dresses all the time, and I say, what the hell is going on? I mean, where did these people come out? Where did they just like a magic Pokemon, like boom. I don't get it. I mean, it's just all of a sudden. And it's just in the past 15 years, and I get it. When you're gay, hey, I just want to be treated right and equal. Hey, why can't I get married like everyone else? I think a lot of people understand that, and it's reasonable argument, but it's one of those things that it came out to be true. Slippery slope. I mean, it's people say it's hateful to say it, but it was literally a slippery slope, because it literally led us down a path that we shouldn't have gone down. People marrying their dogs in California. There's
now they're turning themselves into dogs now.
I saw a news article. Someone in Japan spent $20,000 to turn himself into a furry, a literal dog. They had ear implants, and they look like a German Shepherd or whatever collie, a border collie. It's like, what's going on? It's like, I don't know.
A blessing and a curse. Well, this is what we get.
Too much freedom. It's too much freedom.
Turns out, there's a fella, historian, who came out with a book on Barack Obama. And not many people are talking about it. One of the things, apparently,
his own biographer, by the way.
What's that?
You're talking about the Obama's biographer who wrote his biography, came out and wrote a book saying Obama was a homosexual.
Oh, that too? Yeah. Oh, hey, let me see if I can get a meme.
You're talking about something else. I'm sorry.
No, that too.
I think you were talking about Big Mike there for a second.
No, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. There it is. Okay, let me see if I can. Maybe I shouldn't have this in the Nexus, but when I found out Obama was gay, this is what
I love that. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I love that.
Yeah, that's a good name.
I copy pasted that, shared it, and then I saved it to my. So it's going in.
And Big Mike and Michelle Obama, Big Mike, she was in hot water like last month. She was texting while she was on a yacht drinking champagne. Oh, white people, they're so oppressive to us blacks. Oh, we need it. She was texting on a yacht, and someone video texted her because they coordinated the Twitter stamp, the time stamp of when she posted it, and they got her on a boat on a yacht, and she's drinking champagne. She's like, "We're so impressed. Oh, we need whatever she was tweeting about." It's like
Reparations, yeah.
you know, it's all a sham. It's all fake. It's all kabuki theater. It's all it is. People aren't truthful. They're all fake. They're drifters. That's what they are, drifters.
Carpet baggers.
Carpetbaggers, yeah, that's another word. Yeah, that's a good word for them. Carpetbaggers. Well, so, James, you've been talking a lot of politics. What about a little religion?
No, it's a good time. We have times of time here. Not too bad.
What's the weekly? You didn't say what the weekly Parsha was.
Rhea.
RE-REH.
Yeah. I've got it open right here, and like I was saying, a lot of it's about food, what you can eat and why. God loves meat. Your soul wants meat.
See, right?
Huh?
And the translation of the word ra'ah is to see, right?
Yes, I believe so. And my mouse is just okay. Okay. Well, there's a lot. Okay, a lot about food, a lot about offerings, which will be allowed. Meat is good. Meat is a mitzvah, apparently, from what I'm getting here. We talked about the false prophet. That's the truth. Kind of what I wanted to read, honestly, was Isaiah chapter 11. Because the other thing that's been on my mind are because I've been in contact with a fellow who doesn't get things and likes to say things about the Jewish people and Muslims and whatnot that are just BS. And so I kind of got on an anti-missionary kick. And a couple things I wanted to read. One was from PragerU on the Deuteronomy, or PragerU from Dennis Prager, but I thought I might read this. And this is a good indication of what the end of days will be like when Mashiach comes. Isaiah chapter 11, you can read along at home. It's just one chapter. I'll just read this and we can discuss. And there shall come forth a shoot out of the stock of Jesse, and a twig shall grow forth out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. Chachma binadat, right? There we go. And his delight shall be in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither decide after the hearing of his ears. There's something we could strive for in America, talking about justice, talking about how you can raise your children, what you're supposed to teach them about what is justice in the world. He will not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither decide after the hearing of his ears. Verse 4. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor and decide with equity for the meek of the land. And he shall smite the land with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. And the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the wolf shall dwell with the land, and the leopard shall lie with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. And the suckling child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weakened child shall put his hand on the basilisk's den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. And it shall come to pass in that day that the root of Jesse, that standing for an ensign of the peoples, unto him shall the nations seek, and his resting place shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand against the second time to recover the remnant of his people that shall remain from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and will assemble the dispersed of Israel and gather together the scattered of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and they that harass Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. So that gets fixed. And from what we're seeing there, it's not ever okay. We'll discuss later. All right. And they shall fly down upon the shoulder of the Philistines on the west. Together they shall spoil the children of the east. They shall put forth their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. And the Lord will utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea. With his scorching wind he shall shake his hand over the river, and will smite it into 7 streams, and cause men to march over dry shod. And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people that shall remain from Assyria, like there was for Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt.
This past week, there was an island nation that joined with Israel, and I can't remember the name of it. But that was in the news. That was in the news this week. So there's something that came to pass on that.
Oh, John had to take off, huh?
I had no idea.
Well, I'm glad you got to stop by.
Yep.
It's always good. And hey, Carla, thank you very much.
Carla.
Let me show it again. Well, there we go.
Still at work, but wanted to say hi.
Well, we miss you, Carla. Thanks for stopping by and taking the time. Much obliged. You ever notice how all these people? Okay, that's what I was going to say about the book that came out about Obama. Apparently, he had a history of covering up for some raving black anti-Semites.
No.
Is that sarcasm?
No.
No. If you just want to cut it down, I don't care if you're religious, if you're not religious, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're Buddhist. I want you to just stop and look at the true sewage of leaders of our culture. The same people who were all about the teachers wearing their vagina hats and doing their little abortion dances in the street. All the people who want books like Gender Queer read to children.
No.
The people who want us in war. These aren't people who are at all friendly with Israel. You might have a problem with Israel state, you might not. But if you really want to cut it down, anybody who's friendly with Israel, they're not going to be your enemies here in the States if you're interested in liberty and justice for all. And I'm still surprised how people say, "Oh, America just has to kiss the rear end of Israel every day, don't they?" Yeah, harump, harump, harump. Yeah. The way the Jews and their business practices and their money, and these guys just stand. And I'm just like, dude, you wonder. We don't do that much for Israel, okay?
No.
They buy everything from us.
If anything, they're the only country that pays us back. If we give them a loan, they pay us back.
You know why I think that? It's like, who was it? The Jebusites. They were going to give that land to David. And David says, no, let's make it official.
Right.
Let's make it's like when all the Jews started coming back in the 1800s, they were buying land. They didn't just come in and start kicking Arabs out of their houses.
No,
they came back to Israel because they were buying plots of land.
Exactly.
So they, build houses and grow stuff.
Right.
We
there
don't.
Were people already there too. It's not like there wasn't anybody already there. The second one was like Abraham, who turned around and bought the cave of Machpelah for Sarah. Instead of taking it from his friend, he says, nope, I want everybody to know that I paid for this and I'm not taking presents from nobody. And no one can say that later on down the road.
That's true.
Yep.
And that's probably why they bought land in Jerusalem. If it's their land, but they came and they bought it. Legit. And nobody cared. Everybody liked them coming home. Just about everybody liked them there. It wasn't that big of a deal. But boy, they got people are so mixed up. But I mean, seriously, if you just can't stand Israel state, look at it and you consider yourself somewhat conservative or at least libertarian or a lover of liberty and justice, all the people that stand against it, all the Marxists, all the squad are anti-Israel.
Squad.
They use that all the time. And Jews are good with money. Jews had to be good with money. Blame Rome.
They made sure that the Jews were going to handle the money. They didn't want them in anything else, so they made sure they could handle the money.
And they got their comeuppance. Good job, guys. That Inquisition thing didn't work out for your finances too much, now did it? They're all against Israel, whether it's the Obamas, whether it's the Clintons. Joe Biden, first thing he did in office was give Iran $14 billion American dollars, and within a week, Israel was getting rocketed from.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's who you're dealing with here. I mean, you don't have to like Jews, but if you really want a clear picture, use Israel as your litmus test.
Right.
Because more people are making peace now. Most of the people over there, including the Saudis, don't want war. They don't want this to go on. They think the whole idea of Palestine is stupid. Oh yeah,
we know the Egyptians aren't going to go against Israel. They learned a lesson.
Yeah, and now they're bombing all their tunnels, all the tunnels that were dug from Egypt to come up into Israel and bomb.
Oh yeah, they learned their lesson. They been there, did that. Not doing it again. We let them go once. We're not doing it. We're not keeping them again.
John says, "Have a good night." Thank you, John. Now they're saying this could be the end times. It's not going to be the end times you're thinking. Trust me, you will be surprised. It isn't done.
Well, the Christians end times anyway.
Yeah, the Christian end times. It's funny how the book of Revelation has Jesus call himself Morning Star, capital letters, and everybody's fine with that. But God likens the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, to the falling star of the morning, which disappears and the sun comes up, and translate it as Lucifer.
Yeah, I know.
But Jesus is the morning star.
Right.
I didn't write the damn book.
I know you didn't. I know.
No, I can hear all the voices out there. I have lots of voices in my head. Anytime I have a good idea about Judaism or the Torah or something, I hear 3 Jews and 2 Noahides in the back screaming at me. No, wrong, no. That is not what. No, well, I need to learn to argue better. Let's see. One thing I wanted to read it's from this week's Parsha.
Okay. Were you going to do the Dennis Prager thing or no?
Yeah. So actually, I'm looking at it. This is the
okay. All right.
Leviticus is on its way. I look forward to getting that. This is the Rational Bible. And I've actually been looking through this as we've entered into Deuteronomy this year. I got this when we were in Genesis. So when it was released. So it's just a short where are my eyeballs? It's a short just a couple of paragraphs here on chapter 12, verse 5 in Deuteronomy. sacrifice, not prayer, permitted in one place. And this is what separates the Noahide from the Jew. A Noahide can actually offer up to God anywhere. That's decent. Can't go to a sewer and offer to God.
No.
Okay, certain things you can't do. Moses, the verse that we're reading here, but look only to this site that the Lord your God will choose amidst all your tribes and his habitation to establish his name there. Moses called for a place in which to worship God. Whereas the Canaanite gods were worshipped all across the land, God is to be worshipped only at a site that he designates. It is important to note that when Moses spoke of worship, he was referring to sacrifice, not to prayer. A person can, of course, pray to God anywhere. As Psalms puts it, God is near to all who call unto him. The reason for restricting sacrifices to one site was to restrict them to a place where they would be under priestly supervision. If the Israelites could sacrifice to God anywhere they wanted, some of them would have undoubtedly reverted to human sacrifice or other pagan forms of sacrifice. Another reason is offered by Richard Elliott Friedman in his commentary on the Torah. This is the central point. There are not to be temples of the Lord all over the world, or even all over Israel. There's to be only one place. I understand this to be a physical, visible expression of the principle of monotheism. One God, one place of worship. And there's a longer one. I could read it, but I'm not going to right now because I want to get to the Haftorah as well. But and that was on the banning of human sacrifice. And we think that, we can have an offering as a human being to this day. And it worked. I mean, to some of these gulls up here, that had, knew no technology really. They were victims to the long shield. Okay. These weren't the most brightest of all kind and probably into human sacrifice to some extent. And then here we've got, this guy did it for you. They're weaning them off of, and that even weaned the Romans off of human sacrifice.
Yeah.
Which year? Like, that was an undertaking too.
Where in the Colosseums? Okay.
Okay, yeah. You know what I mean.
Blame it on the lions. All right.
Ritual human sacrifice.
Hey.
And I believe it was the Rambam said the reason for the sacrificial system set up in the Torah is to wean mankind off of human sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And we still do it to this day. I think that Joe Biden is going to offer up his son Hunter to save his own ass.
Hunter's not a virgin.
Didn't say it was a good sacrifice. I just said he was going to offer.
Come on.
He's let him go. He's done it so far.
Let him offer up Hillary and see what happens. Hillary or Pelosi, man. That's funny.
Just look up Bohemian Grove if you think I'm crazy about this human sacrifice stuff. It's still in the minds of people.
Mm-hmm.
We still think we can sacrifice this or sacrifice the rich and everybody will get rich.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's going, that's just one man, and there are more important things than just one man in this country. And that's some ass backwards, ancient, dark, totally human bullshit. Excuse my French. You don't sacrifice anybody ever for any reason. Now, if you want to throw yourself on a grenade and save your platoon, that's different. That's your choice. You made that decision.
That's self-sacrifice.
And it wasn't ignoble, in my opinion, of Jesus to give himself up to save his followers. Didn't work, but you can understand that is a choice. But when you think you can offer somebody else, or you can see someone else suffering, all for the betterment of the good, we're going to allow them to suffer. That's not how it's done. It's not just. It's not, and it's daily in America. The American people's hearts are good, but their heads aren't with it. And I think hopefully with this Trump thing to show just how easy it is to screw a human being over.
Mm-hmm.
10 years in jail for an ounce of weed. I'm pushing 50 here soon, And I'm beginning to see what 10 years can really mean to a person.
Yeah.
And you're going to rob him of that? Put him in a warehouse of men where you're deprived of the company of women, and sometimes you just have needs, and I bet those judges get off on it. That's the kind of people we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with, all right. We are dealing with the Haftorah,
Yay.
So, I don't want to watch what I say. I don't want to get my blood pressure up. That's it. I ain't scared of saying that these are not human beings. These are not good people. We've been asleep since World War II, or the end of it. Okay, we are in Rhea,
Isaiah 54, chapter 54.
On the nose.
Starts with verse 11.
Okay, yeah, we're in that. Okay, no fancy holidays. Okay. Let's rush Kadashu. Okay. So Isaiah 54:11 through 55:5. Here we go. And you can follow along at home. We've got of course, I always say it, you got Chabad.org, mechanmamri.org. All of it's there. I'll be reading, of course, from the stone. O afflicted, storm-tossed, unconsoled one, behold, I shall lay your floor stones upon pearls and make your foundation of sapphires.
Yay.
I shall make your sun windows of rubies and your gates of garments and your entire boundary of precious stones. All your children will be students of Hashem, and abundant will be your children's peace. Establish yourself through righteousness, distance yourself from opposition, for you need not fear it, and from panic, for it will not come near you. Behold, one need fear indeed if he has nothing from me. Whoever aggressively opposes you will fall because of you. Behold, I have created the smith who blows on a charcoal flame and withdraws a tool for his labor, and I have created the destroyer of ruin. No, I've created the destroyer to ruin. My weapon sharpened against you shall not succeed, and any tongue that shall rise against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servant of Hashem, and their righteousness is from me, the words of Hashem. That's really important. That's really important. That's why I tell people it's not about the Jews. Stop it with about the Jews. Someone will send me some Jewish guy said something bad 10 years ago and it was caught on camera. Some kid on the street. Oh, see, Jews are racist. You hear what he just said? Hear that? See? They're supposed to be the chosen ones. And I just want to smack the guy. It's like, just right. He says, your righteousness is from me. The righteousness of the Jew is because of God, not because of the Jew.
Okay.
This is the heritage of my servant Hashem, and their righteousness is from me, the words of Hashem. That's Chapter right. 55. Ho, everyone who is thirsty, go to the water. Even one who has no money, go buy and eat. Go and buy without money and without barter wine and milk. Why do you weigh out money for that which is not bread, and fruit of your toil for that which is... Why do you weigh out money for that which is not bread, and fruit of your toil for that which does not satisfy? Listen well to me, and eat what is good, and let your soul delight in abundance. Incline your ear and come to me. Listen, and your soul will rejuvenate. I shall seal an eternal covenant with you, an enduring kindness promised David. Behold, I have appointed him a witness to the regimes, a prince and a commander to the regimes. Behold, a nation that you did not know will you call, and a nation that knew you not will run to you. I want to read that again. Behold, a nation that you did not know will call you, and a nation that knew you not will run to you. for the sake of Hashem, your God, the Holy One of Israel, for he has glorified you.
Yes, yes, yes. And I want to go to number 4 in the commentary that goes with that on my side. Rashi's
Go for it.
commentary. This
Please.
is a witness to nations, a prince and a superior over them, and one who will reprove and testify of their ways to their faces. One who reproaches them for their ways to their faces. 3 guesses who that is.
Let's say, okay.
Huh? Orange Mad? Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of, I want to have the Parsha up on the computer. What was the verse? Which verse was this again?
It was 55-4.
I have appointed him a witness to the regimes, a prince and a commander to the regimes. Behold, a nation that you, okay. Now what was the commentary again?
A prince and was superior over them, and one who will reprove and testify of their ways to their faces. One who reproaches them for their ways to their faces.
He is kind of an in-your-face guy, isn't he?
Oh, okay, man, he's from Jersey. He's from New York. Enjoy
I
it.
didn't think of that. That's good.
Like I said, the poor man, like I said, he's either the backside Ezekiel or the backside Joseph. I can't figure that one out. I haven't figured it out yet. Man, let me tell you what.
Why Ezekiel?
Because Ezekiel's a prophet.
Won't know why the back. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Ezekiel was the one who was constantly getting in trouble as well. But he was, like I said, he's a prophet, and you know how prophets are always likened. They just tell the truth, and all this. So it's like, okay, but Joseph went to jail, and his brothers didn't like him because Joseph was in their face, and they didn't like him, and they tried to kill him, and it didn't work. And he ended up being one under Pharaoh. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay. So it's like, okay, Trump pretty much, he might be the president of the United States, but, he's still got to answer to people. But, it just, the more you see this, and it's like, yeah. And right there it is. He's like, I'm going to tell them off to their faces, And that's all he's done is been in their face. And they don't like it.
They probably wouldn't care if there wasn't a fat load of Americans who agree with him.
Right. I mean, what are they trying to do? Get rid of a rich man? That's not happening. And the thing is that what they're talking about, they're not even talking about his money. Have you noticed that? His money is nowhere around in the picture. That's what's crazy. It's like, all right, you want to go after a rich guy? So, okay, you couldn't get him out. You couldn't get him on his business practices, so now you're going after his personality? Oh, come on.
Yeah. Another one coming out of Georgia, or that's already done, isn't it? That one, did Georgia happen yet?
I don't know. I've been working. I have no idea. Stupid people. Ugh. Yep.
We've got to do. We've got and we got a lot of Christian people in here in America, and they really they've got the tools they need. You really do. Mm-hmm. Understand the law as God wants it for His people and His nation. It's an example set for all of us. I'm not saying everybody needs to start wearing, pants and stop eating pork. And I'm not saying stop. I'm saying as far as justice, just look at Deuteronomy. How you handle justice, how is theft handled, so that you can implement it in the world. Because there ain't nothing else going to save us. Trump can't save us. He can do some good. But this is us. This is our problem. Our kids like this and what they're feeding our kids and what they've been feeding them, that's our fault.
Yeah.
Bless my mom. The worst advice the woman ever gave me, and she didn't give me much bad advice at all ever, but you don't want to ever discuss politics, religion, or sex. We just don't talk about that. We're not supposed to. And now we're ignorant on God, civics, and
STDs. Okay, got it.
If you don't see the sickness, the sexual sickness, then I don't know what's.
Yeah, STDs. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, I did have to vent a little bit.
You go right ahead. Go right ahead.
You gotta. From Superman, they're good people, Kal-El. They wish to be. They only lack the light to show the way. Ding, 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 ding. Sorry, Jor-El, you were wrong. We have the light.
Right.
And again, for Zionism, I could go on with that history lesson again. Just look at it this way. Look at the friends of the Jews, for whatever reasons, and look at their enemies.
Superman's Jewish, by the way.
True. Of course he's Jewish.
So Spider-Man.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, all the superheroes are, for the most part.
Actually, Samson, there's a superhero to some degree.
Yeah.
Possibly. A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. As long as you don't cut his hair. You're good.
True.
Well, everybody's got to have their kryptonite, right?
Yeah.
So.
Don't get me on about superheroes now. Go see Samson. If y'all haven't seen Samson, you can rent it cheap. You can watch it free on some channels. It's good. It's good. It's a little off. They have full ears of corn over there. Samson is big old handsome. I want to say he's Samoan. But his family is Anthony Perkins and what's the Bionic Woman's name? Lindsay Wagner.
Lindsay Wagner, yeah.
Yeah, there's some oddities, but it's a really good film. And just to watch Samson, one, destroy the temple at the end, the false gods, the idols, and the other is when you can watch him, kill 100 men with the jaw, or 70 men with the jawbone of an axe, and it's like I'm counting them as he's doing it. It's like ding, 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 and they go through it. They go through them.
And they've taken the honeycomb out of the lion. Yay.
Oh, yes. Oh, and then you got to see Samson, y'all. Okay. I'm going to go help the wifey take care of a very rambunctious child.
Melting down, are we? Yeah, I know. It's in the air, whatever it is.
When is
Sukkot? 2-year-old meltdown. Had two. Sukkot, I don't know. I think we've got 38 days to Rosh Hashanah. Or is it past? Yeah, Rosh Hashanah. 38 days, and then Sukkot follows that, right?
Evening of Friday, September 29th.
Somewhere around there.
And Rosh Hashanah. Let's see, for this year, September 15th. So right up to that. Evening, Friday evening. So it ends on Shabbat. So it begins on Shabbat.
Ooh, can it do that?
I mean, it begins, not ends.
And wouldn't that be able to begin? It might have to begin on Saturday or Thursday. I don't know. Can it begin on Shabbat? No, I don't.
I thought it was Yom Kippur that couldn't land on Shabbat.
Oh, there's a bunch of them that can't do Shabbat. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, we'll look it up. We're going to find out. We got some time, though. So.
All right, go for it.
In the meantime, tzedakah. Take care of yourself and take care of someone else, too.
Mitzvah. Yes. From the heart.
Until next week. Any last words?
It's like they said, before I set before you good and evil. Well, guess what? Look at your Bible, Christians. You got Old Testament and New Testament. Figure it out. Hey, I swear to that one. That just hit home really good. Set before you, and I set before you good and evil. Here you go. Mm-hmm. Choose.
Don't worship the bronze snake wrapped around Moses' staff.
No.
It's only there to direct your eyes to something greater and something real.
Correct.
There's my words.
Until
next Thursday. We got a microphone. I've got a working computer. It took a lot to it, but we're gonna keep pushing through. So next Thursday, right here, 8 p.m. We'd love for you to join. Orphans of Abraham on Facebook. My email is jamestheidolsmasher@gmail.com. You can also go to TorahFriendsPodcast.com as well. Thank you, Rosalie.
Oh,
You're
more
awesome.
than welcome. So are you,
You're
Jay.
always awesome.
So are you.
Hey, well, that.
Okay,
And
now.
you, my favorite
Yes,
viewer,
we are. Yes.
you right there. I know
You
who
are
you
awesome.
are.
That's right.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
Yes, and we still get some views on Twitter and Facebook as well. So thank y'all. It means a lot that you watch. Would love to have you. So if you're not working, come on by. I'll leave it there. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom, y'all.
Take care of yourself.